Ta-da!
There you are. Hey, how's it going?
What's happening?
Hey.
Oh, what a week. What a week.
Yeah. It's not even over yet. Still got more to go, man.
Yeah, you're right about that for sure. I'm packing a long weekend. As you know, you've already given me slack for it. I'm going a week from today. I'm going to Tampa, visit Mr. Retired Officer Conley.
Yeah.
Tracy and I are going down there. Ron and I are going to do some golf.
Cool.
Should be a good time.
Post a few things. Looks like he had some visitors this week too, right?
Last week, Glenn Smith went. A buddy of ours from high school went down there, and Ron, I think this whole week he's given his liver a rest because Glenn can drink, and I don't know if you follow him on Facebook, but they were like every day. Because again, Ron's wife is still up here teaching. So Marguerite wasn't down there, so they were bar hopping.
I saw him sending pictures from the golf cart or something like that.
Oh my God, they're hitting 7-8 bars a day.
Yeah,
either on the boat or dry land.
Yeah.
So,
they're losing track of where is this stop 4? Is this stop 5? We're not sure anymore.
Yeah, so
crazy.
He was taking it this week easy. I think Marguerite goes down there this weekend, so she'll be down there obviously before we get there, and. I think we even have a date night for Top Golf.
Have you been to Top Golf before?
Yeah, about 3 times.
Yeah.
Tracy's
I like
been
the place. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, she's been with me one time on a business thing. That was a couple years back. I took everyone from Manland last year Christmas to Top Golf. That was kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Watching.
I've been to one out in DC area. I've been to one in Vegas. We've got one here in the Twin Cities now. It's only a couple years old. So they're all basically the same, but it's kind of cool. It's like hitting golf balls out your front window.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Something like that. What we decide on? Who do you want to brag on, I guess? Did I spell brag right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Did I spell everything right this time?
Well, at least it's the same topic that we talked about. So
I didn't screw it up
so far.
Right.
Yeah.
But then
I thought I'd take a minute. I've shared pieces of this with you, but I realized I'd never, probably didn't even say it to him. So I'll make him listen to the podcast and then he can pick up on it. But the boy, your godson in his hockey season, thought I'd tell you that story because I got to thinking about it. And, they made it to the state tournament. They ended up losing their first 2 games, so they didn't go very far. But the journey was kind of cool. And I realized kid's probably got a more level head on his shoulders than I did at 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So if we flash back to the beginning of the hockey season, so kind of that October timeframe, he'd been going to summer training. He'd been going to captain's practices with the high school, and he was going to be one of 3 goalies. So he'd probably press for some varsity time as a sophomore. And I guess he'd struggled with this notion for several weeks before he ever came to me. But there's just a stacking of little individual things in the program at the high school that any one of them by itself isn't a reason to maybe not try out or not play. But, they start at 5:30 in the morning. They have an afternoon skate. They have lift. So that's a big commitment in time.
Yep.
We've had a hard time putting a competitive team on the ice for a while. There's some dynamic in the locker room that he wasn't really fond of. So you stack all these things together, and he kind of made a decision that he didn't really want to try out. So after 2 or 3 weeks of him hemming and hawing with himself, he came to me and talked to me about it. And I think I even called you and asked you for some advice about that time. Like, I could have probably forced him and kind of made him try out and pushed him a little bit, but getting a kid up at 5:30 in the morning to go do that ended up being a fight for more months than I wanted to put into it. And the piece that I started to feel kind of good about is he went and talked to the coach. Like, he just didn't not show up to tryouts. He went and told the coach what he was thinking and kind of why he was thinking it. And he kind of left them shorthanded. You kind of need 4 goalies for a high school program, 2 on
Sure.
varsity, 2 on JV, and there was only going to be 3, and then he was going to pull out, so it just left him with 2.
Right.
But even in that circumstance, the coach complimented him. So I'm proud of you for taking time to think about it, being honest with yourself, being honest with me, and you came to me beforehand. You just didn't not show up. So I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know that I would have done that when he was when I was that age.
And you think about it, I mean, he's at that age that peer pressure amongst his friends, his teammates are all time high, shows his maturity for sure.
Yeah. And he had some explanation to it. He just didn't say, I don't want to do it anymore. But then, so we go past he opts not to try out. So he's not going to be on the team. And then as he sees his buddies trying out and realizes, I'm not going to play hockey at all, he kind of gets an itch. And I'm like, well, we just missed tryouts. There's junior gold, which is high school age kids that didn't make varsity or junior varsity.
Right.
And up here, there's so many kids playing hockey. There's junior gold teams everywhere. Our community doesn't happen to have one. So we sent a note to the district office. Say, hey, are there any junior gold teams in the area? I know we've missed tryouts, but anybody looking for a goalie? And about 7 minutes after I send the email, I get a response saying, yeah, team over in Egan, next town over, they need a goalie or would like an extra goalie on their U16 team. So got a note from that coach, and we took Ethan over. He skated with them on a Thursday night practice. And I was like, well, they've already got one goalie. Ethan, you might not get to play very much. You're going to be the second guy. Mm-hmm. Didn't try out, coming in late. So he skates with them for one practice, and then they say, yeah, I think he'd be a good ad for us. And then he played in the tournament that weekend. And it didn't take very long to realize, hey, Ethan is the better goalie here. So as we kind of go through things and get a few games under the belt, coach recognizes his potential and starts putting him in any game that is going to be competitive, any game going to be tough. Ethan goes in. And in those games where maybe a little less competition or we should win this one, put the other guy in. If he gets in trouble, Ethan will come in and in relief kind of thing. So they go on a winning streak. They were ranked as high as 2, as low as 8, whatever. They ended up beating the number 1 ranked team in the state, the number 2 ranked team in the state throughout the regular season. And they land somewhere in that 8 or 9 ranking overall and qualify for the state tournament. So
awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah. And then, had a couple of tough games there, but good experience for him. He matured. The locker room, the guys on that team, he felt, a camaraderie with. So it was a different atmosphere than what he was used to. And I think he'll probably try to play with these guys again next year. So
no, and you said the right word. The experience. I mean, I bet he's probably thinking back, oh my God, I could have really screwed this up, not, keep going with his passion with hockey. And and I'm sure his coach felt that way too. Even if there are dead balls, even with the other goalie, after first, they're thinking, this is the kid that came up and was up front right away, and I could tell where his head is at. And, it goes a long way for him and you guys, you and Jules' upbringing on him too,
Yeah, occasionally you feel like, hey, wow, he actually heard some of the things we were saying to him.
Yeah, and you listen, right? I went through that with my boys. They were, multi-sport athletes and pretty good at everything. They're good athletes. Wrestling season was always a tough type of or time of the year, is because not only you got to be good, you got to be in shape and all that. And you're cutting weight too.
Yeah.
Which
is make you cranky.
Yeah. I always said, a lot of athletes can get by on all their just natural ability, or they're really good at it. But wrestling, and I'm biased to this, but you got to be a great athlete, but then you got to be mental tough, man. Because cutting weight.
Wrestling is a tough sport because you can practice with a team. You got a team backing you to make sure you're preparing right, and a coach advising you. But when you go out on that mat,
it's you.
It just you and other dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always, again, being biased, I'm like, you can't say, well, if Johnny would have caught that touchdown, it was right in his hands, but he dropped it, or if Tommy would have hit that free throw at the end of the game, we would have won. Wrestling, man, it's on you.
Yeah, it's all you.
You either scored or got scored on, or sometimes obviously referees play. There's some bad calls here and there, but when you told me about this title, my kids came to mind too. But I came to mind as I'll brag on my ex-coach Mark Tiffany. He was a state champ for Waukegan, near next door or next city over from Gurnee. Went on to college, did big things, but he taught me so much more than just moves. He taught me between the ears, and he always said that, who doesn't want to win and beat everybody up and win a state title and this and, tournaments. He's like, it'll prepare you for life, and I had called him back when I think, my kids got into high school, and I said, man, I've coached them since they're 8 years old in this thing. Now I'm turning over the reins to the high school coach. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with some practices and what they're going, whatever. And I called Tiff, and I remained friends with him, all these years. And he's like, you can't live through your kids, You might have done it this way, or you're thinking that way, but you kind of got to let them, kind of what Ethan did. He kind of did it on his own.
Yeah. Yeah, I could have pushed him one way, but that would have been me forcing it. And he had to do it himself to be able to stand up for what he wanted. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Two, not to get, I'm not the sensitive guy in this podcast. I get the hate mail. He gets the good mail. Is I brag on my friends. I mean, I've told my kids when they've went off to college or whatever, they leave their core buddies here. And I always tell them, I said, you might find your best friend in college, or the girl that you marry or what have you. Right. But I'll brag on, I got some, my kids think, oh my God, Dad, everybody. Right. I'm like, but I got that small group of good buddies, you being one of them. And, it's just, I'm lucky to have the friends in my life, I guess I can brag on them. We all have our faults, me having more than everybody, but,
that was recorded, right? You recorded that?
Yeah, I can delete that out when we, but, there's, I look back and like my kids will come home from their job and say the owner or their boss is a jerk and he makes all this money. And man, if I had all that money or if I was the boss, and I'm like, I always tell them, I go, you just got to be thankful for what you have. Yeah. And I went through, rough spots growing up and young adult and all that crap. And I'm blessed, man. All my kids are healthy. My grandkids are healthy. We're healthy. Yep. We got a good roof over our head, a good job. We don't go out and buy yachts or anything, but.
No, that's why guys like Ron. He bought the yacht, right?
And get ready, Ron, because I always call him, he's the cheap guy, This is the guy that comes over to Manland. He'll bring his own beer because I charged a 10 and 10. $10 for all the beer you can drink, $10 for all the shots you can drink. Best deal on the planet, right? Ron will bring his wife's probably listening, a 12-pack of PBR.
Right, because it was on sale for $7.99.
He'll finish the 12 and then take his 12th can over to my tapper and fill his beer up. And I'll be like, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm just a little bit.
Just top it off.
And he'll have about, whatever, how many more. Well, he retired, bought a very nice house down in Florida. He just bought a really nice boat to be on the ocean, because you can't have just a little boat out there. And I'm looking forward to getting my money's worth out of Ron, to go on that boat and have a good time. And I need a vacation. I'm shot.
Yeah. Yeah,
When's the last time you were on vacation?
Sheesh, I don't know. I don't know that we take vacations very much. Like we'll take long weekends and go to the cabin or something like that. But I don't even remember the last time I took like a full week off and went somewhere and didn't have a computer that I checked once in a while during the trip or something like that.
Oh, I'll bring my laptop. I'm stupid, and I'm sure Trace probably will too, and I have some work to do while I'm there, but for the most point, speaking now, you just made me remember some. I remember you bivouacked on Tracy. You and Julie bivouacked on Mexico one year. You guys were coming with us, and
that was because my mom got injured or had stone or something, had to have surgery, and she was going to be the one that came up and stayed with the kids.
What kind of excuse is that, ladies and gentlemen? We had this plan.
Yeah, right.
You could have told your mom that have surgery. You just put it on hold.
Get sick, don't have a disease.
Right.
Hold off until
it
we
was
get
like
back.
it was like not kidney or I can't remember. That was a while ago.
I can't remember if it was gallbladder or kidney stone.
It's been so a while ago. I haven't invited him back to Mexico. To make it sting a little bit. We got to do that. I mean, it is like Paradise Island. We haven't been there, what sucks, in like 2 years because it's COVID shit. Now, granted, people are going
to use those weeks somewhere else, or
we sell them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we sell it. Dude, it goes like hotcakes. You can get more money than what I mean. The issue is I always go 2 weeks and 2 days. We go to Mexico because I don't consider vacation traveling there and traveling back. So I always take 2 weeks and 2 days. We go to Mexico.
Day to get there, a day to get home.
Right. And the COVID, now it's lighting up and all that crap. But I was worried, like, I'm already taking 2 weeks off of work. They say, because they test you 24 or 48 hours
to have
prior.
A negative test within X hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you test positive, you got to quarantine there for another 10 days. And I'm like, I can't be gone freaking a month, So
your bosses would freak out.
Oh, my Lord. So, I mean, we haven't been in 2 years and I'm itching. So, I mean, we went and visit Marguerite and Ron last year in Tampa, had a great time. But we're going back again because we're still not ready to go to Mexico, I guess.
Yeah. I've got a colleague who lives in the Tampa area. And she hears everybody else talking about, the COVID restrictions and that. And she giggles out loud and says, I don't know what you guys worried about. Florida's been open for 2 years.
Oh, yeah. And Ron says there's no mask in restaurants and stuff like that. And here, I'm not pro-COVID or whatever. I mean, but, it got out of hand there for a crazy minute where you couldn't even walk. I used to laugh because I used to watch people commuting to work. They'd have their mask on in their car by
themselves in the car.
And I'm like, I don't get that.
Yeah, that's strange. I think you'll still have to wear a mask in the airport on the plane, but most other places not anymore.
Yeah, well, we're prepared for that, but I'm definitely ready to get the hell out of here. We've had a mild winter. How about in Minnesota?
We got an inch of snow last night.
So it's been a bad winter? Or?
Kind of being just a lot of snow. Like once it gets cold here, the snow just stays because it doesn't ever warm up enough. But we finally had like the last week or so, a couple of days, 50 degrees and everything got melted away. And then last night we got, enough that there's standing snow on the grass and, on landscaping, things like that. It melted right away on the roads. But
I think 3 times this year I broke out the snowblower, maybe 4 tops.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we've been, knock on wood, lucky. In the Midwest, I could frickin', we could get 4 inches tonight. I'll jinx it. But I think we're over that. We
always get some kind of snow in April up here. So
yeah,
don't put away the shovel or the ice scraper from the car until May.
Yeah, right. And I have the shovels out, and I looked at that last weekend. Like, all right, I could start, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it just yet. You never know. Yeah. But no, we've been pretty lucky. Gonna go. We're actually, ladies and gentlemen, Dean and I are pondering of trying to do a remote podcast when I'm down there.
Now that'll be something that we can brag on if we actually pull that off, because
I don't think you'll brag.
For error could be bad.
You got to understand, it's probably Ron and I will be drinking.
Right.
You're probably going to get mad that we're trying to do a podcast and Ron and I
won't be paying attention.
Yeah.
You'll be yelling at the mic. You'll be pull a Chad Pratt and won't need to be mic'd up.
Well, I won't have a microphone. I'd have to do it from my cell phone, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like a Zoom on the
little speaker on your laptop or something.
It might sound like shit, but it might be some good content. Maybe I won't even want to. Here, last time, I won't even go in the. Ron and I, well, any one of my friends, when we start drinking, who knows what's going to happen.
But Charlie won't be there, so there won't be the instigator.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be his fault. You know?
It'll be Charlie's fault while you're in Florida.
Yeah. We had the guys over. Over last weekend for Manland, the NCAA wrestling championships were on. And I probably bore people with this, but man, what a final. Iowa got their butts kicked. I think they took fourth. Yeah, they did take fourth. Penn State won it. Michigan took second, which they won the Big Ten championship the weekend before, which was a big upset over Iowa and Penn State. But, man, there was some matches, man. Woo.
Well, who's the guy from Minnesota?
Gabe, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
an Apple Valley kid. Graduated from the same high school my kids went to.
Yeah, he's stud. A lot of people don't know. He signed a big deal with the WWE already.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
he left his shoes on the mat there after that last match
when he won the finals. The guy did a running backflip.
Yeah,
that's how agile this big monster as a heavyweight.
Oh yeah,
is.
He's a big dude too. Yeah,
he's unbelievable. They had some matches. I think this year they had 3 different wrestlers in the finals that were double seeded, meaning 10 or higher. That made the final. There were some big upsets in the quarters and the semis. So we had Nick over. Kenny Friedman was in attendance, which is, very odd because he doesn't go out. He came over for the finals, and obviously Chuck and Chad, Brian, Nick, all those guys were there. But pretty good time. Everybody, this time of year, everyone's in the college basketball. I'll start watching college basketball now because wrestling's over with. But
yeah, there's only a week of it left. Already in the Sweet 16, so you don't have much left to go.
And how about these? Here, I'm going towards our title. I want to brag on the NFL players' agents out there. They are cutting the biggest deals in history for football players.
Yeah. And their teams are having to find creative ways to get under the cap and open up some space, and huge amounts of money are becoming signing bonuses. Yeah.
And I don't know if Houston, right, with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and he's moved on, right? He's going to be in
He's going to be
Cleveland.
Suspended the first 6 games. Didn't he beat his wife and beat a dog
the entire year? Yeah.
He signed. He's got it. All right, and I'll rip on the Chiefs. Well, I shouldn't rip. He has a better deal than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he's got guaranteed money.
5 years.
If you got suspended, it would be without pay, or at least without large portions of your pay.
But everything else guaranteed.
Yeah, he's got it in his contract that he won't suffer financially if the league suspends him.
And I'm like, okay, well, he hasn't won any Super Bowls. He's a good player. But I'm like, this guy's getting the biggest contract ever?
Yeah.
And how about they're called the Green Bay Rodgers now. I don't think they're called the Packers anymore.
Did he get a big portion of the team to stay there?
No. He took all the money. What's his name? Adams. He moved on to my Raiders.
Adams moved, yeah.
Right? So they signed what Rodgers to $50 million a year, whatever it is, and now he doesn't have his number one receiver. That I don't get it.
Well, same thing. Kansas City, they couldn't come to terms with Tyreek Hill, and he's going to Miami.
Miami,
$20 million contract.
Unbelievable. They just lost your offensive tackle or defensive tackle. He went to
let one of the defensive guys go. Yeah,
I think to Miami too.
Did he go to Miami? Yeah, I'm not even sure.
I'm not. Everybody can correct me.
Yeah, I didn't even realize there's that much money around in the NFL.
My Raiders got a lot better. They got the defensive back from Kansas City too.
Ward, I think.
Something like that.
And then freaking Denver, they got Russell Wilson. Plus a few others.
And where did our Bears guy go? Robinson. Did he go to the Chargers?
I don't know. Did he? I didn't.
Yeah, we could have signed him last year. And Pope, which is our general manager of the Bears, should be shot. And here, I love the Bears. They haven't drafted good in the last decade.
They've got more starting quarterbacks than any other team over the last decade, don't they?
Yeah, and I'm not sold on our new quarterback. Of course, he went to Ohio State, so he can't be that good. It's not like a Michigan quarterback. Yeah. But then Brady, they signed Fournette, that running back.
Yeah, he was once upon a time in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh, and Matt Ice is Matty Ice is out of Atlanta too, right?
Yep. So Tampa, I mean, it's going to be a while. The AFC is packed.
Yeah.
The Cowboys,
the AFC West in particular, got four of the best quarterbacks.
That whole division.
Yeah. And they're all going to have two losses because they're going to beat up on each other.
Mark my word, Denver's got they finished the fourth best defense in the league. Now they got some pieces. They got Russell Wilson.
And their schedule is going to be easier this year because they try to balance all that out. You didn't do quite as good last year. You get an easier schedule next year, kind of thing.
But I was, I'll brag on the agents out there because they are cutting these deals. I'm like, where does all this money come from?
Yeah, where's our sponsorship dollars? I thought that was supposed to be coming too. I guess we can't brag on that guy yet.
I heard the check's in the mail.
Yeah.
I think I had Chinese last week and my fortune cookies that the check's in the mail. I'm like, yeah,
check's in the mail. Nice.
And they didn't give me any sweet and sour sauce either. I got screwed.
It went through the drive-through, didn't you?
I went through the drive-through. Anyways, well, today was a little bit shorter and sweeter. Folks, get ready. I mean, again, you can send me the hate mail. I'm used to it because I'm the sensitive one.
Yeah. I think we might come up with a new gimmick here on a go forward too. Like we're going to experiment with Mike being in Florida. We might do every now and then do some mini sessions for you, just a handful of minutes.
Yeah.
Quick from the streets kind of topic stuff. So we're going to play with that a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. Yeah. Hey, and I didn't get the hat yet. It didn't come in the mail yet.
No. I'm sure that I probably have a delivery confirmation. I'll check it for you.
Yeah, double check on that because I've been checking, and no hat.
Yeah.
So don't brag on Blockhead too fast. We should get him on a show.
Yeah, he's at that funny age though, where he gives a lot of one-word answers.
Yeah,
So if we ask him very specific things, you could probably turn it into a conversation, but.
When you
want him to elaborate, that's kind of hard.
The state tournament, Rick was on that feed. Dean was because we wanted updates,
Yeah.
And that, especially that first game, man, could that would have went either way or what? I mean,
that one was we were down a goal. They pulled Ethan with 2 minutes left. We took 6 or 7 shots and just couldn't get it in. And some guy threw in an empty netter from 200 feet away.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Even went 2 posts. It went tink tink and then in.
Oh, but no, that was a great experience for him because and he's a senior next year.
No, he's a junior next year.
Oh, he's a junior. Oh, thank God. I thought I was a little bit older than. Okay, good. So he's got plenty of time. So he got awesome experience.
Yeah, and he's going to play something they call Red and Black League in the spring. It's associated to the minor league here, the Minnesota Magicians, but it's all high school age kids. They get like 300 kids register. They divide them into teams, and they just play games every Friday and Saturday. He's done this. This will be the third time he's done that, and he's already been on a team that won the championship in that one time.
Wow.
So it's amazing. The first time he played, he was a little intimidated. He was a freshman going in. He was one of the youngest to play. The speed of the game gets faster and faster every year as these kids get bigger. But now he's not afraid of it. He's not intimidated by it. And he's finding his own here.
That's awesome. And he stuck with it. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think if you asked him, he's glad that he decided to reach out and get on this team as opposed to sitting out the year.
Yeah, well, any sport nowadays, I mean, if he sat out of here, he'd be like way behind, you know?
Yeah.
For sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. Indeed.
All right. Well, another one in the books, man.
All right, man.
I have a funny feeling that next week's
Could
hey,
be coming
I'm in
to you
for it.
live from the Gulf Coast.
Well, we'll definitely get some when we're on the links. But
Yeah. Good footage.
all right, Dino.
That sounds good.
Be good, man. We'll talk to you.
Have a good night.
Yep.
And I'm feeling the strain.